Okay, I'm going to try to sharpen these two 1-inch chisels that I have. As with any metal, like I've talked about before, as with any metal, the softer the metal, the easier it is to dull, but it's also the easiest to sharpen. Whereas the harder the metal, the harder it is to dull, but it's also harder to sharpen. So I got these little, like I said, these little cheap chisels, and I know the metal is soft in them, but they do pretty good for what I use. I don't really use them that much for a bunch of stuff, but I still, I'd rather it be soft and let me sharpen them the way that I want them sharpened, other than being hard and take me half a night to try to sharpen them because the metal's so hard. So what they say, and it goes, pretty good. They say you want to keep a 30-inch bevel on your chisel. Now, what I do is I just try to kind of keep the edge on the chisel that's there, the bevel on that's there, whatever it may be. I just try to keep it there, and you can feel it whenever you're going back and forth. You can keep it level just by doing that. They make jigs for it. I mean, you can put it up with the jig to make sure that it's exactly 30 degrees, and you're moving the whole jig back and forth to try to keep it, at 30 degrees. But I know how the stuff that I use cuts, so I mean, I just try to kind of keep the bevel that's on there. I try to keep it on there. So I mean, whatever it is, if it's 35 or 45 degrees, whatever it is, that's what I try to keep it at. I just try to keep the bevel that's on there. And like I said again, you want the backside just to be flat. You don't want it to have, you don't want a bevel on this backside. You just want it to make sure that it's flat and that it's, true. But on the front side, like I said, you want to keep the bevel. And I always start off, and I know that I need to get me some more of these Diamond Life sharpening stones. I need to get me some more, and I need to get some of the highest grit that I got, 600 grit. So I know I need to get me some more to really make them, where they're sharpened, and I can get them pretty close where it just about take the hair off your hand. That's probably why I don't have no hair on this hand anyway, because that's what I use to kind of gauge it with. But I used this to make this handle last week, and I'm fixing to do something pretty cool with this handle. Y'all just wait and see about that. But I start off at the 200 grit, and then I work myself up to the 600 grit. And I know they make, golly, like 2,000 grit. I know I can probably get some sandpaper that does that. And that would be really sharp, but it also dull pretty quick too. So 600 grit usually does me all right. I've used this so much that I know it's dull. I used to have me some polishing paste, and I used it all, and that son of a gun will make it sharp. That polishing paste will. If you get it, pretty sharp, and you put that polishing paste on a cloth wheel or something like that, and then you run it, over it, that'll get it sharp. I mean, really sharp. But I don't want something so sharp that it can get away from me. But like I said, that's why I got the cheap chisels. They make some nicer chisels out there. It's made of that hard metal, but this is kind of what I've gotten used to. This is what I like to use, so this is what I use. Like I said, what I try to do is I start off on the 200 grit, and I just try to kind of keep the bevel that's on there and just back and forth a little bit. First of all, I want to make sure this backside's flat. So what I'll do is I'll turn it and I'll lay it flat, and I just kind of work it around, just like so. And then you can kind of feel it. You can kind of feel it. What you can do is you can look on the backside of your chisel, and if you see the chisel mark, the sharpening marks all over the backside of the chisel, you know that it's pretty flat. I don't. See that right there? See that? I don't know if you can see that black right there. That's not quite as flat. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I get the whole backside of the chisel like this. Because you never know when you're going to have to lay this whole flat piece down to try to get a burr out of the wood that you're trying to chisel anyway. So I try to make sure this back side is as flat as I can get it. And I usually only do this on the 200 grit and the 600 grit. Had to spit. So this is what I try to do. And once I get it where I can see, okay, I've got I've got sharpening stone marks all over the back side of the chisel. So I'm pretty confident that this is, pretty flat on the back side. Now what I want to do is I want to sharpen up this edge. And it's only got an edge on one side. Doesn't have the edge on this side, although you can kind of feel it. But I want to make sure that I keep the edge that's on there. That's what I want to do. I want to try to keep it at the angle that's on there. And basically, like I said, you got to have patience when you're sharpening anything. Anybody that's ever sharpened a knife or sharpened a chisel or sharpened anything knows you got to have patience. If not, you're going to dull up what you're trying to do instead of sharpening what you're trying to do. Nothing comes quickly. Keep that in mind. So what I try to do is I don't even try to put a whole lot of pressure on it, to be honest with you. I just try to go back and forth, and keep the angle that's on there. Check it every so often and make sure that you're not grinding, kind of off at a corner here or something. You want to make sure that it's even all the way across. And like I said, you can kind of feel it. Once you do it a few times, you can kind of feel that angle. You can feel where the angle kind of bends down. Like I said, they make a 30-degree angle jig that you can put on here and make sure that everything is perfect. But once you do it a few times, you can kind of figure out how it goes. And all you want to do is just kind of go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like this. And if they're already pretty sharp already, you really don't have a whole lot to do, because like I said, this soft metal, it doesn't take much to sharpen it. And you can see on there, you can see how it's, well, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can see how the sharpening stone has hit it all the way across that bevel right there. Okay, because sometimes if you're leaning this way when you're sharpening the fire out of one side, but you won't sharpen this side any. So you want to make sure that it's sharp all the way across here, and that's why it's important to keep that angle as close as you can get it, like this. It's gonna take some time now. I'm not gonna lie to you, it does take some time. The 200 grit cuts really good. It really does. Like I said, you can feel that. Man, that looks real good. That's probably one of the best ones I've ever had. And you can feel that edge. You can feel that burr on the back side where you push this metal over like this. You can kind of feel it on the back side. That's why I don't mess with it except on the most extreme grit, the roughest grit, and then the finest grit. If I had a leather strop, which I'm going to get me one of those, or a polishing wheel, you can really make this sucker sharp. You make it sharp as a razor. But I already swapped over. Let's see, I'm on 300 right now. This is the yellow. Notice I didn't do the flat side again because I know it's already flat. I'll do it again over when I get all the way up to the 600 grit, which is as high as I got right here on my stone. I'll flatten it just to kind of smooth off that little edge on the end here. I'll do that first, then I'll flip it over. Then I'll flip it over and do it like that on the beveled side there. I won't mess with it right here because it's not really doing any good. All you really want to do is make sure this is flat. So when you lay it flat on a piece of wood, it catches whatever's not there. I mean, whatever's, any kind of wood burr that you have or something like that. And it, like I said, this cheap metal, it doesn't take very long now, I'll be honest with you. Especially if you just stop to spit. So you gotta stop every once in a while and check, make sure that you're right, and that's pretty good. Like I said, they say 30 degrees is the best angle. And it probably is, and these are probably set up for 30 degrees. I don't know, I hadn't even checked it. But I just try to keep the angle that's on there because I know that that angle works good for whatever I try to do or whatever I want to do. And it don't take much now, to be honest with you. Just work it back and forth. My 200 grit has been worn so much, I usually start off with a 300 grit because there's not a whole lot of difference between the two. Let's see if this is how sharp this is. It's getting there. It's not quite there, but it's getting there. Yeah, we'll make sure that everything's clean. Make sure that everything's clean. Power's off, by the way. I just wanted you to know. That's a sexy lady's voice that's saying the power's off. She's doing it as nicely as she can. Power's off. We finna have to end this video. I'm out of Dr. Pepper. Can't have that crap. Alright, so I've got it pretty good on the 300. Now let's go to the 400, which is green. And we'll do the same thing. All you want to do is just kind of work yourself up. And keep it straight. If you go off to the side like you're sharpening your knife, you'll get one side and you don't want that. What you want to do is make sure that it's straight. Wherever you feed straight, make sure you come back straight. Some people just go one way. Some people go just this way. Some people go just this way. I like to go both ways because I want to make sure that metal is even all the way across. So if you just go one way, you have a tendency to push off to the side. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that my chisels are all uniform all the way across. So I may go to this side of the stone. I may go to the other side of the sharpening stone here. But I make sure that wherever I go, I come back the same way. And if I go over to the middle, I'll go this way. If I go over to the side, I go this way. I still go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like I said, you can feel that edge. You can feel that bevel on the edge. Now let's turn it over to the 600 grit. Now on the 600 grit, this is as high as I got right now as far as sharpening stones go. Make sure you keep it clean too. I mean, all the little pieces that you grind off, that'll get in the way of whatever it is you're trying to sharpen. Now, what I want to do is this back side has an edge on it now. I can feel it's kind of rough. So what I want to do is I want to lay it down and try to flatten it out also. I just want to get that lip off of there, that little backside lip that from me doing this. See, all you're doing is you're just pushing the metal over that way. You're pushing, whenever you're sharpening this edge, the beveled edge, you're pushing that metal over this way. So in order to make sure that this side is flat, because you don't want this side digging into your wood, because if so, it'll dig into and gouge it real good or real badly. So you want to make sure that this side is flat, and then we're going to flip it over. I want you to look at that edge. Look how pretty it is all the way across. I don't know if y'all can see that. All the way across has the same wear, all the way across. So now this 600 grit is, we're gonna do the same thing to it. Uh-oh. And this will take a long while. I usually stay a long time on the 600 grit. And then when I had that polish, which like I said, which I need to get some more of, I would take it and I would really run it you know, really run it over here, and it would make that so sharp and so bright that you could see your reflection. I'm being serious. I'm not, you know, yanking your chain. But again, you can feel the angle that's on there. You want to just keep it on there like that. Back and forth, back and forth. The finer the grit, the more you want to stay on it. That's not bad for 600 grit. I got the cuts all over my wrist and hand here where I'm trying to see how sharp it is. For 600 grit, that's not bad at all, to be honest with you. That's pretty doggone good. Oh yeah, that's real good. Can't really get to my wrist. I shaved all the hair off of it doing this crap. If y'all can see all that hair on there. But like I said, for 600 grit, that's hard to beat. But anyway, that's how I sharpen my chisels. These are the two latest chisels that I use, so I'm gonna make sure that I get these two 1-inch chisels. That's what I used to make this with. It was my 1-inch chisel. So this is the handle for my chisel that I made the handle for. But that's it. That's pretty good. That's how I like to sharpen my chisels. I sharpen my pocket knife on this wheel as well. I mean, not on this wheel, but on this sharpening block as well. I'm thinking about. I don't know what I'm thinking about. I quit thinking. I just react. That's pitiful. But anyway, that's how I do it. I know there's a better way. People tell me all the time, why don't you do it like this? Or all you got to do is this. Some of the worst ideas in the world happen or start out with all you got to do is, and then you're screwed. You know you're screwed. All you got to do is, yeah. But anyway, that's how I do it. I know that's not the best way to do it, but that's how I do it. That's the way I feel comfortable doing it. And like I said, I'll probably make this as a single video. I thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. You'll see the weekly video that I put out every Monday, and then you'll see the intermediate shop time videos that I put out throughout the week. Some of them are kind of short, some of them are a little bit longer than others. But anyway, they're a lot of fun to do. I hope y'all enjoy watching them as much as I enjoy making them. Thanks for watching. That's all I got. Sugar Hill Sway with Jay. Thanks for watching, y'all.